Hi all, this is Ashish Kyal here. Welcome again to Elliott Wave News channel by wavesstrategy.com. And it has been a fabulous week if you remember my discussion from the previous webinar where I talked about volume profile, probably an accumulation which is ongoing. Nifty was trading in the zone of 11,300 odd levels. I think 11,250, 300 was the zone when we were talking about, and it gave an amazing move on the upside of more than 300 points in just few days of time, and that shows the power of neo wave volume profile that I personally use and time cycles. So I've talked in detail in the last week how everything looked like an accumulation which is happening at the lower levels, and finally that accumulation resulted into a break on the upside, and it went exactly the way it was expected as per neo wave. We were expecting a C leg to start on the upside, and it worked out beautifully well. As per time cycles, we were expecting that a low should be formed, and it turned out to be extremely well. And that low got protected, which was formed. And at the same time, I showed volume profile, which indicated there is a huge volumes which are happening at the lower level, and that might result into completion of wave B and start of wave C on the upside. And it turned out to be extremely well. I am applying those same concepts on the stocks as well, and I found it to be amazing to see how well those stocks have been behaving based on the volume profile. I applied it on Tata Motors yesterday, and it gave a huge run up. I applied it on iBull, and it was simply amazing. So it was an amazing day looking at these concepts combined together and identifying the stocks. And in 5 minutes of time, once that confirmation happened, in 5 minutes of time, iBull was up by more than 10%. Now it was a huge move which was confirmed again on the volume profile. So these kind of moves I am trying to incorporate into combining with neo wave studies and time cycles and with volume profile, and it looked like it's doing the much needed job, and it has been a fabulous day. So let's now talk about Nifty. What is happening with Nifty? If you can see my chart here, last week when I was talking, I published the research when Nifty was somewhere around this zone. It was finding out the resistance at this trend line. So if I go back, this is where I published the latest research. Yes, okay, let me do that. So it was exactly around this zone when I published this webinar and the research last week, and this trend line I talked about. I also informed about how the volume profile is looking like. You can refer my earlier video of last Friday, what I looked on the volume profile chart, and the Bollinger bands I applied. I clearly mentioned if Nifty manages to break above the trend line and the bands, it is going to confirm that we are starting a move on the upside. That is exactly what happened, and Nifty moved from the levels of 11,300 to the upside that everyone can see now over here. We can clearly see how amazing it went all the way towards 11,660 levels. So that's a decent enough rise in just few days of time. What was lacking in this up move for the earlier most part of the week was the overlapping rise. So every rise which came resulted into a sharp decline on the downside, but the Bollinger bands provided a much needed support, and we can clearly see how well the entire mid of the band. So this is how it has been providing the support. So this is like a 14-day EMA. Let me change it to 20 so it becomes in sync with Bollinger bands right now. Okay, so this one. So it worked out pretty well, and if you look at it, it provided the support, and at the same time Nifty has been continuing to be in the upper range of the band. That clearly suggests that the trend continues to be positive despite of whatever anyone is saying. Nevertheless, you should be cautious because the momentum was not there very strongly in the middle. However, if you look at a daily chart and use the bar technique that I talk about in my trainings, if you use that bar technique and try to look at this daily chart, there has been not a single close below the prior day's low. That is a classic indication that the trend remains positive. What is interesting to see is that Bank Nifty is yet to catch up with Nifty so far. Nifty is back in the zone. This is the zone of huge volumes again. So if you look at the volume profile chart, we can see a huge volumes were happening in this specific zone. There was around 17 lakh volumes, 18 lakhs on each of these days, and Nifty closed exactly in that volume zone. The next week opening, I think on Tuesday, Monday is off. So on Tuesday, it's going to be very crucial where we open and how we behave in this heavy volume zone. I'm going to keep a close watch on Bank Nifty as well, because that index is yet to catch up with Nifty and it has to do so very fast. So I'm going to keep a very close watch how Bank Nifty behaves. I'm going to keep a watch on how Nifty is behaving. But stock specific action has continued in the market. We can clearly see that there are stocks like Godrej Consumer Products, Maruti, iBull, Tata Motors. These stocks have continued to move in a very strong fashion after giving a break above the prior day's high. So those stocks are providing ample opportunity with a very short duration of time, a strong momentum moves that we are seeing in those kind of stocks. Let's go back on an hourly chart and try to see. If you remember my previous discussion, I talked about how this fall was, the entire rise was way. We saw a move on the downside in the form of wave B, and how we will be starting wave C once 11,300 levels are taken out, and that is exactly how it was taken out, and we started wave C on the upside. What remains to be seen is that this rise is in overlapping fashion, so it is not a normal impulse but a terminal impulse pattern, if you understand what I mean by terminal impulse. And that's why I'm going to use dips as buying opportunity in this kind of a market rather than buying on the breakout. So use dips back towards the 20-day average, use that as a buying opportunity, but put a very strict stop loss, because there can be sudden reversals and we are at the highest volume area. So you need to use that. Nifty found support near the 61.8 average, that is here 61.8, sorry, not the average, Fibo retracement, moved above, formed wave B, we are in C, and this C leg, as per this pattern looks like a zigzag pattern. As per neo wave rule, C should take out the high of wave A, and that is what we saw. So that has completely worked to the textbook example of neo wave. And time cycles, if you remember the cycle which I was talking about, it has also worked out brilliantly, and it provided the much needed support over here, and that cycle resulted into a very strong positive breakout. So the time cycles, neo wave were in sync. What I additionally combined together is an Ichimoku cloud to time my trade on intraday basis or positional basis, and I then combine everything to look at volumes. What is happening on the volume side? Where is the probable accumulation happening? Where is distribution happening? And that is what I look at, and it has provided me with the clues what the smart money is doing. I'm trying to understand that, and it is helping me to understand also where should be my exit once I have entered. So it's very important you understand a complete strategy end to end, not just entering. You can enter at any level, but exit becomes very crucial. So on intraday basis, probably you need to follow certain statistical tools to exit the to take out something off the table and keep trailing your stop loss. Trailing method is the best way, because if the trend continues, you are always in the trade, you are not out of the trade, and you are always in the trend. So I always book partial profits and then keep trailing the remaining. So that is the best strategy that I have come across. And Nifty in the coming week, I think, is going to be important to observe 11,700, how it behaves there. If we take that level out in a rush with a gap and Bank Nifty supports, then yes, we might be headed much higher. However, if we start struggling here on and we break back below the low of around 11,550, then that will be an indication that there is some kind of exhaustion which is happening. But I'm not going to short the market now. I'm going to look for buy on dips opportunity unless and until I see a close below the prior day's low. So anyone who has attended my training will know what I'm talking about. What is the prior day low, how we have to follow that step-by-step approach of looking at which all things to combine together: bar technique, time cycles, neo wave, Ichimoku cloud, and the volume profile. So that gives the complete setup that I use, and it has worked amazingly well. You can refer my research report where I have been mentioning about the levels, the studies, all of those things are mentioned there, and that will give you a much needed insight into Elliott trade. So you should also keep a watch on stock specific action which is ongoing, and there are moves which are happening in those stocks, but very selective stocks, so it's not very easy to identify them. but there are ways to identify them. So I am using some algos and scanners in order to find out those stocks, and I'm using that for my personal trading as well. So you can probably want to learn these methods. You can approach me for the upcoming training, which is on Neo Wave, Elliott wave, time cycles and volume profile. You can register before 25th of October in order to get an early bird offer. I'm also giving a complete free research for till the time of the training to anyone who registers before 25th October, and you will see how fabulous these have been working. So all the Elliott wave research. I'll also share across one more of my screen, which is the website wavestrategy.com. If you visit this website, what you are going to see here is the training, the all information about the training. You can simply go here, click on the banner, you will get all the information of the training. There is also a Diwali offer which we are running right now for the entire intraday services, calls, advisory, research reports, and you can clearly see all the offers that we are running, what offers, and this is again available only till 31st October. So the sooner you register, the better it is, because we are giving some 4 months of free research with 12 months of subscription. So that those things are also happening. For any of the research, you can visit wavestrategy.com, and over here you can find completely all the packages. So you can simply go on the home page and you can do that. What I also suggest is go to the traders forum. Over here you have any charts that you want to share across, please do that, and I'll be more than happy to reply back. So there has been a discussion, a huge discussion which happened on Ichimoku cloud, and we discussed about what is the view, and you can clearly see at the end when the cloud, it bounced back from the cloud. So this was the level which was at around 11,200. I said now we are starting the up move from here. This is an hourly chart of Nifty. I think this is a 30 minutes or an hourly chart, and we saw very classic reversal from the Ichimoku cloud back on the upside after it came down, retested the cloud, and the up move from 11,200 250 to 11,680 high in today's session. So you can find all of this research in the traders forum. You can visit and you can see this chart, the date when it was posted, and this is an eye opener which shows it works. It works amazingly well. Also, I would like to share across that the training which I am conducting, I am doing it in Delhi for the first time. In case you have any references or anything, please feel free to refer them to us. If you have any questions, you can comment here itself on the YouTube, and I'll be more than happy to respond back. And any kind of specific webinar that you would like me to conduct, you can always ask me, and I'll be more than happy to cover any of the topics, time cycles, neo wave. In 15 minutes I can't do much, but I can able to explain what all those things mean and how you have to probably go about it and how you can learn those methods. So it can be anything: Ichimoku cloud, neo wave, time cycles, volume profile. Please share across your views and queries on under the comment section on the YouTube itself, and I'll be more than happy to do that. I think that's it from my side, and it was a wonderful day. We had a huge move, and next week Tuesday is going to be very crucial. I'm keeping a close watch. My views will be published in the morning research. My calls on Nifty, Bank Nifty stocks I keep giving to throughout the day. For those, you can subscribe to intraday equity calls or commodity calls, and you can probably avail them under the Diwali offer. That's it from my side, and have a wonderful weekend. Have a wonderful festival next week, and see you again same time on a Friday. Thank you.